You are viewing the webinar for Resume Development, How to Tell Your Story. To get the most from this webinar, you will need pen and paper for brainstorming and light activities, as well as a copy of your resume to capture notes on how to enhance your layout and design. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Nicola Edwards. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a career advisor for the Experiential Learning Hub, where I've worked for the last 7 years. Before my joining the University of Guelph, I worked in the private sector for about 10 years as an employment counselor. I'm passionate about work exploration and personal development as tools to shape and grow one's career and self-marketing skills. Territorial acknowledgement. It is with great respect that the Experiential Learning Hub acknowledges that the University of Guelph resides on the ancestral lands of the Attawandaron people and the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We uphold the significance of the Dish with One Spoon covenant and the continuing relationship our Indigenous neighbors have with this land. We recognize that today this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging them reminds us of our relationship to this land where we learn and work. Today, it is my hope that at the end of this webinar, you will have a better understanding of what makes a resume effective, how an employer will review your resume, and how to build employer-relevant content. Have you ever taken a moment to consider what you do really well, how you contribute in the classroom, in your paid or unpaid work, or even in your extracurricular activities? What action verbs describe what you are doing? How do others benefit from what you do? And what are some of the things you have done that you feel really proud of? Pause the webinar briefly for a moment to brainstorm 1 to 3 responses to each of these questions. Then come back when you are done. Welcome back. So what did you learn about yourself? Hopefully some of your strengths are jumping off the page for you. A tip: these are what we would call your differentiators. They are what allow you to do your best work. Use them and others you uncover in your resume to showcase to your future employers how you will get things done. In addition to your strengths, there are some other important pieces of information to know before you write your resume. Who is your audience? Take into consideration who the reader is, a recruiter or department manager. What are the employer's needs? Do some research. Google the employer. Gather some understanding of the industry through professional associations. Ask yourself, what problems are they solving? What are they looking for? How can I contribute? Understand which of your strengths, skills, knowledge, and experience will help you best serve the employer's needs. If you are applying to a specific position, use the job posting to identify the specific skills the employer seeks, and think about where you engage these skills academically or in paid and unpaid work. How are my past experiences and accomplishments of value to this employer? Your content needs to speak to the transferability of your skills. The employer wants to know how you will leverage what you've already acquired to learn and become successful in their role. How can I best contribute my strengths and abilities? How are you leading the reader through your story and with strategic layout and relevant content in your resume? When we apply to new roles, we do so because we have the desire to grow and learn. So often, it is a role we have never done before. We market ourselves for these new roles through our resume by demonstrating the transferability of our relevant skills, our flexibility to learn new things, and how we will leverage our strengths to do our best work. As a document, your resume tells a story of your employability for a specific role to stir the curiosity of an employer for the purpose of obtaining an invitation to an interview. The resume is not just a historical document, but rather a string of experiences showcasing to a future employer the transferability of your strengths, your skills, and your knowledge that will support you in learning and becoming successful in the role. We have been exploring what your resume needs to convey to the reader. This knowledge will prevent your resume from being generic, but rather achieve a targeted and customized document instead. Given what we have been learning, pause the webinar for a moment. Look over this resume and notice what is good, what works about layout and content. Take some notes. Welcome back. Now that you have had some time to get to know this resume, I would like to highlight some things that are universally true in achieving a strong resume. The layout. It's clean and scannable, guides the reader's eyes, and clearly identifies the name of the candidate. Headings are informative and direct the reader to information. Prime real estate on a resume is considered the top third of the page and the left over the right side of the page. This is where the reader will take in most information during that first 30 seconds, where they will assess their interest level in reading the document. This resume has a value proposition. This is a marketing tool explaining the job seeker's differentiators. This can include skills, strengths, and accomplishments that will add value to the company. The skills section focuses on specific skills the role requires and strengths the candidate can bring to the role that will present added value. An equally as effective strategy for the top third of a resume is to use a highlights a qualification section, which is more common at this stage of your career. The work experience section provides clear, concise descriptions and accomplishments that are transferable to the future role. The content. Bullets are used to address and showcase how Marcy is matched for the new role. Specifically, she focuses on the hard and soft skills that fit the role she's applying for. They give insight into how Marcy completes her work and provide accomplishments or results to showcase her contributions. Her use of appropriate industry or business language expresses her level of professionalism and industry knowledge. And finally, her professionalism is seen in how she represents herself through her descriptions, organization of information, and pride in her work. The reader will build a profile of who you are and your fit for their role through your sharing of hard and soft or technical and transferable skills. Technical skill examples include areas of subject matter or discipline-specific knowledge and expertise, as well as technically engaged areas such as math and statistical knowledge or data and technical skills. Soft or transferable skills are behavior-based, such as creativity, collaboration, and problem solving, and provide insight into what you have to offer as a team member. Let's look at how we can uncover your skills. Let's start with uncovering your skills, strengths, and subject matter expertise within your academic experiences. To identify these, begin by brainstorming academic experiences you've had that make you feel proud. The graphic provides you with some examples: assignments, projects that allowed you to demonstrate leadership qualities, contributions to group projects, or to a class discussion or online posting. Pause the webinar and write one or two of your own academic pride moments. Then move on to the next slide when you're done. Now that you've identified an academic pride experience, we want to mine the value of this experience for its transferability to the work world. In thinking about your specific pride moment, here are some questions to consider. What were you doing? How were you doing it? What was the outcome? How did the experience make you feel? Why does this story matter to you? Pause the webinar and explore this academic experience by briefly answering these questions. Welcome back. Now, read what you wrote and highlight any verbs. These words will help you name skills you used, like teamwork, communication, or problem solving. You can do this for paid and unpaid work experiences too. Identify what made you feel proud, follow the questions, and pull out the skills. This will provide you with an inventory of skills you now know how to do well, or would consider a strength. Bullets communicate who you are, who being an acronym. This is a simple frame. When you read the bullets in your resume, ask yourself, did I communicate what I did, how I did it, and the outcome or result? What you did can be recognized in the task, the problem, or the opportunity that you were engaged in. How you did it refers to the steps that you took to meet the challenge, the skills, the strengths, or knowledge that you used. And the outcome or result is what happened, what was accomplished in the end. How did you help is another great way to ask. Look for quantifiers and qualifiers, or numbers and examples, to support your statement with evidence. If you're having trouble locating your outcomes and results, ask these questions. What problems did I solve? What did I create or initiate? What need did I identify or meet? What service did I provide? If you have trouble seeing what you did, look from the lens of your team or department. Then ask, what was my part? Even if it was the same as your other team members, you still did it your way, and it is still evidence to strengthen your bullets. The language we use is important. The reader needs to relate to it, or it will not be meaningful to them, and they will assume you are not aware of their needs and move on. Write using employer business and industry jargon language, not academic speak, is really important in your resume. Some examples of how to translate academic language to employer language are: your group presentation becomes about your project management skills. Your class presentation becomes about presenting team research findings. Other tips to ensure your bullets are relevant to your future employers are: focus on your actions and results, not your duties and your tasks. Showcase your skills, strengths, knowledge, and experience. Open with a strong, persuasive action verb. Provide evidence by using numbers and examples whenever possible. And finally, polish your statements, making them strong and to the point. So what does a well-written bullet look and sound like? Tip: reading your content aloud will help you hear where you need to edit and develop your content. Here's a couple of examples that are typical and simply state a duty or task. Served customers. Handled cash. When developed, they showcase the employability of a candidate because they showcase the transferability of skills and experience. They become: provided timely and effective customer service while executing meal orders and achieving 90% satisfaction rating on customer surveys. Promoted to a larger section after 3 months based on a result of excellent customer service feedback. Verified coworkers' cash balances as a result of achieving 100% accuracy over a 3-month period. I'll leave you with a bullet for you to try. Take dealt with customer complaints and develop it to showcase who you are and what you have to offer. Now you can apply what you've learned from today's webinar to your own resume. When you have a draft ready for review, or you're feeling stuck, or have questions, I invite you to go to experienceguelph.ca and make a virtual appointment with a career advisor to support you in taking your resume to the next level. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you today. Please reach out for more customized support. During COVID-19, we offer customized one-on-one meetings with career advisors, as well as virtual interactive webinars where you can have your questions addressed. We look forward to supporting you along each step of your career journey.